begin with prayers. Please join me. Hold your hands. Namo Vishnu Padaya.
Namo Vishnu Padaya.
Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale.
Krishna Preshthaya Bhutale.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta.
Srimate Bhakti Vedanta.
Swamin Niti Namine.
Swamin Niti Namine.
Namaste Saraswate Deve.
Namaste Saraswate Deve.
Gauravani Pracharine.
Gauravani Pracharine.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi.
Paschatya Deshatarine.
Paschatya Deshatarine.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Jaya Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara.
Shri Advaita Gadadhara.
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Srivasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Hare Rama, Hare Rama.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Rama Rama, Hare Hare.
Welcome all of you for today's Gita Wisdom Series session. We are now in the 13th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita. 13th chapter is very interesting. It's called the nature, the enjoyer and consciousness. Kshetra, Kshetrajna, Vibhaga, Yoga. So this chapter begins with Arjuna's questions. So let us see. Please turn to page 599 if you have the book. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha. Prakritim Purusham Chaiva. Kshetram Kshetrajnaneva cha. Etat veditum ichhami. Jnanam Jneyam cha Keshava. Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Shri Bhagavan Uvacha.
Idam Shariram Kaunteya.
Idam Shariram Kaunteya.
Kshetrajnam Kshetram Ityavidhiyate.
Kshetram Ityavidhiyate.
Etadyo Veditam Prabhu.
Etatyo Vedi Tam Prabhu.
Kshetrajna iti tadvidaha.
Kshetrajna iti tadvidaha.
Arjuna said, "O my dear Krishna, I wish to know about Prakriti, nature, Purusha, the enjoyer, and the field and the knower of the field, and of knowledge and the end of knowledge." So Arjuna is asking about few concepts in the beginning of this chapter. He is asking, I want to know about number 1, Prakriti, nature. Number 2, Purusha, the enjoyer. Number 3, Kshetra, the field. Number 4, Kshetrajna, the knower of the field. Number 5, Jnana, knowledge. And number 6, Jneyam, the end of knowledge. The blessed Lord then said, the Lord replied, "This body, O son of Kunti, is called the field, and one who knows this body is called the knower of the field." So this body is called the field, field of actions. Where do we perform all the actions? It is within this body, through this body, through the mind-body system. We think, we feel, we act. Therefore, this body is called Kshetra. Kshetra means the field of activities. What does Kshetra means? Field of activities. And the one who knows this field of activities, he is called Kshetrajna. Jna means to know, the knower. So who is the knower within this field of activity? It is the soul. And also the super soul, Atma and Paramatma. Both of these are called as Kshetrajna. So this body is called Kshetra, within which all activities are performed. And the knower of this field, there are two knowers. They are called Kshetrajnas. One is the individual soul, we ourselves, who are dwelling in this body, in the Kshetra. And then there is the super knower, that is the Paramatma. So we are knowers and Paramatma is super knower. Why he is called super knower? That is explained in the third shloka. Please repeat. Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi.
Kshetrajnam chapi mam vidhi.
Sarva kshetreshu bharata.
Sarva kshetreshu bharata.
Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam.
Kshetra kshetrajnayor jnanam.
Yatta jnanam matam mama.
Yatta jnanam matam mama.
O son of Bharata, you should understand I am also the knower in all bodies. And to understand this body and its owner is called knowledge. That is my opinion. So why is Paramatma called as the super knower? Because he knows all the bodies, all the kshetras. Each one of us, we know only our particular kshetra. Kshetra means body. Right? You know what is happening in your body. He knows what is happening in his body. She knows what is happening within her kshetra. But there is the super knower, that is Paramatma, Krishna. He is present simultaneously in all the kshetras. And he is aware of what is happening in each kshetra. Simultaneously he is knowing. Therefore he is called super knower. He is also Kshetrajna, but his knowing ability is not restricted only to one Kshetra like ours. This is a very, very important understanding we should all know. My knowing ability is limited to my body-mind system, whereas Krishna's knowing ability is spread over all the body-mind systems. Therefore, he is the supreme Kshetrajna. And what is jnana is another question that Arjuna asked. So Krishna is replying here shortly in this verse. Knowing the kshetrajna and the kshetra, that is actually knowledge. Here Krishna is not saying, if you know the Higgs boson particle, that is jnana. He is not saying, if you know the supernova explosion, that is jnana. He is not saying that. So what is jnana? What is knowledge? To know about the body and the two knowers of the body. That is actually jnana. That is knowledge.
Atma and Paramatma.
Yes. And the body also. Even though we are not the body, we should know how the soul is pervading within the body. How the soul is animating this body. Many people have a wrong understanding in spiritual life. They say always soul is stressed. So that means body is not important. Because they say that body is not at all important. No, that is not the case. Idam shariram khalu dharma sadhanam. This body is a very good instrument to attain perfection. Human body, human life is very, very special. Because with the human body we can understand God, we can perform bhakti. Therefore this human body is very, very special. So therefore we must take care of the body also. Right? There are two things. A materialistic person takes care of the body thinking that this body is the source of pleasure. Whereas a spiritualist takes care of the body with the understanding that this body, if I take care nicely, it will help me to attain spiritual perfection. So, one kind of taking care is, it involves wrong understanding that I am the body. Materialistic people think we are the bodies, and all pleasure comes from the body only, therefore I should at most take care of the body. And they pamper the body like anything. That is not recommended in the Bhagavad Gita. But taking care of the body to provide its bare minimum requirements, so that the body and mind are in good condition, so that we can perform bhakti. That kind of minimalism, that is recommended in the Bhagavad Gita. So we should not lavishly pamper the body, thinking that I am the body and these bodily pleasures are real pleasures. That we should not do. But at the same time, we should not ignore the bodily requirements. We should not neglect. Body requires food, we have to supply. Body requires sleep, we have to take care of that. All these should be taken care. All these bare necessities should be taken care, even by a spiritualist. In the 6th chapter Bhagavad Gita, Lord Krishna has already explained this. He says, do not eat too much, nor you should eat too less. Do not sleep too much, nor you should sleep too less. Both extreme behavior is not good for an aspiring spiritualist. As much as required, we should supply the necessities of the body. Right? So therefore, even though body is taken care by a spiritualist also, but there is a gulf of difference between the taking care of the body by a materialistic person and a spiritualist. Both are different. So Lord Krishna is saying, what is knowledge? Knowledge means understanding who am I. I am not the body. I have a body, but I am not the body. I am the knower within the body. I am not the body. Just like we are sitting inside this room. Because we have entered this room, have we become the room? We are still individuals within the room. Our identity is separate from the room. I have just entered the room. I am present within the room. This is right understanding. So, just because the soul has entered the body, it doesn't mean soul has become the body. Soul is separate from the body. Body is an instrument to achieve the soul's purpose. Now, depending on the conception that people have, there are two primary purposes of the soul within this world. Those who identify themselves with the body, their purpose is sense enjoyment. All their thinking, all their activities, they are centered around how to increase my sense enjoyment. That is called materialistic way of living. How to maximize my sense pleasure. If somebody is always thinking, planning and scheming about sense enjoyment, he is called a materialistic person. Whereas another purpose of life that is explained in the Bhagavad Gita is self-realization. One who has the right understanding, I am not the body, I am soul trapped within the body. But I can use this body to get out of this trap by practicing Bhakti Yoga. When one has this kind of an understanding, when one designs his or her life based on this understanding, then self-realization becomes the goal of life. So out of the two goals of life, everybody in this world is either pursuing the goal of sense enjoyment or self-realization. There is no third goal, actually, only one of these two. At any given point of time, everybody is busy with one of these two activities. Sense enjoyment or self-realization. Majority of the people in this world, 99.9% of the people in this world are pursuing the first goal, sense enjoyment. So all the advancement in science and technology are being used. How to maximize my sense enjoyment? And somebody may say, what is wrong with it? We have the senses, we have the body. The senses are seeking enjoyment. If you supply sense enjoyment, what is the problem? But the problem is, sense enjoyment actually is not the ultimate goal of life. If one simply engages in sense enjoyment, in the beginning he or she may get some pleasure, but in the long run, he gets only miseries. That is already explained in the 5th chapter of the Bhagavad Gita, we have discussed. In the beginning, sense enjoyment appears to be pleasure, but dukkha yonaya evate. It only gives dukkha, it only gives miseries, it traps us. And because of being busy with sense enjoyment, we lose the attainment of a superior purpose of life, which is self-realization. So self-realization is actually the ultimate goal of life. That is what every now and then Bhagavad Gita tells. So what do you mean by self-realization? First thing is knowing that I am not the body, I am soul. Now theoretically knowing is not sufficient, one has to realize also. How does one realize that I am not the body, I am soul? One can realize when one engages himself or herself in the positive process of bhakti yoga. When one understands that beyond this temporary body, I have an eternal relationship with Krishna, and I have to engage myself in activities which will help me to rekindle my eternal relationship with Krishna, then we can realize self-realization and side by side God realization, both. So self-realization and God realization, they happen side by side. One is incomplete without the other. Because there are two kshetrajñas within the body. It's not simply enough that you realize I am the soul within this body. No, there is the Supreme Soul also present along with me in the same body. I have a relationship with that Supreme Soul. So that is God realization. So both self-realization and God realization, they go hand in hand. And this is the complete spiritual process that Bhagavad Gita is telling us. So now, let us quickly see some of the verses, and today I will be discussing in detail verses 8 to 12. Till there, we will just quickly read the translations, verses and the translations. Please repeat verse number 4. Tat kshetram yaccha yadriccha yad vikari yataschayat sachayo yad prabhavascha tat samasena me shruno. Now please hear my brief description of this field of activity and how it is constituted, what its changes are, whence it is produced, who that knower of the field of activities is, and what his influences are. Text 5. Rishibir bahudha geetam chando bhirvidhai pradak Brahma Sutra Padaischaiva Hetu Madbhir Vinishchitaihi. That knowledge of the field of activities and of the knower of activities is described by various sages in various Vedic writings, especially in the Vedanta Sutra, and is presented with all reasoning as to cause and effect. So here in this shloka, Krishna is referring to the Brahma Sutras or the Vedanta Sutras as the authority. So even when Krishna is presenting knowledge, he is not simply randomly presenting knowledge whatever he feels. He is also quoting a reference. Every responsible speaker has to always quote references to present knowledge perfectly. Right? So Krishna is teaching us by this example. He is quoting the Vedanta Sutras have described the knowledge about Kshetra and Kshetrajna, and that is what I am presenting now, Krishna is saying. Text 6 and 7. Mahabhutanya buddhiravyaktamev cha Indriyani dashayikam cha Panchachendriya gocharaha Ichha dvesha sukham dukkham Sanghataschetana dhritihi Etat kshetram samasena Savikaram udahritam. So here now Lord Krishna is giving, he's listing what all constitutes the kshetra, the body, the field of activities. What all the field of activities includes. First one, the 5 great elements, that is Mahabhutani, earth, water, fire, air and ether, Panchabhutas. And then Ahankaraha, false ego. False ego is also an element that is constituting our subtle body. And then Buddhihi, intelligence. And then Avyaktam, the unmanifested. What is the unmanifested? The soul. And then, the unmanifested, that is the 3 modes of material nature, that is called the unmanifested, not the soul. And then Indriyani Dashayikam, the 10 senses, 5 knowledge acquiring senses and 5 working senses, Karmendriyas and Jnanendriyas. And then Manaha, the mind, the 5 sense objects, Panchachendriya Gocharam, the objects of the senses that we have discussed in the previous sessions. And then desire, Ichha. Ichha also is a part of the Kshetra. We all have desires, right? That is also part of the Kshetra. Dvesha, hatred. And then Sukham, Dukkham, happiness and distress. Sanghataha, the aggregate, everything that is present. So the aggregate is the 24 elements according to the Sankhya philosophy, which makes up the whole body system. Chetana, the living symptoms, consciousness. Dhritihi, our convictions. Etat, all of these. Kshetram samasena, savikaram udahritam. So all these things in summary is the field of activities and its interactions. So, just like in modern science, if you have to study, suppose you study anatomy of the body, we study different organs and then we go deeper into the tissue level, then cell level, we study different parts of the body, right? Human body. In the same way, here there is an analysis made. What all is present within our mind-body system, that is called Kshetra. So we have the gross body which we can touch and feel, which we are able to see, which we identify ourselves with. That is the Panchabhutas, it is made up of 5 great elements. And within the gross body, we have the subtle body, Sukshma Sharira. What is this Sukshma Sharira? It is made up of mind, intelligence and false ego. And within that is the soul. So the soul is covered by 2 kinds of bodies. One is the gross body, the hardware, you can say. Hardware is what we are seeing, our body, made up of Panchabhutas. Within the hardware is the software. What is software? Made up of three elements: mind, body, mind, intelligence, and false ego. Manas, buddhi, ahankara. And within that is the soul proper. We, the soul, is present. I, the soul, am covered by these two kinds of coverings. Where are all my desires, my hatred, my convictions, all of these stored? These are stored in the subtle body, software. So when a person dies, he is giving up which body? Gross body, hardware body we are giving up. Correct? When a person dies, only hardware is given up, but software is still there. And in the software, what is stored?
Code, data.
Our desires. Okay, data. So this data is nothing but the desires, convictions. All of these things are stored where? Where? Subtle body, sukshma sharira, software. So the soul is carried by the software to another hardware. This is the transmigration of the soul. The soul gives up, when a person dies, the soul gives up hardware, but the software is still there, which has all the desires and ichha, dvesha, sanghatam, all these things. Ichha, dvesha, dhrutihi, all of these things. Experiences of sukham, dukkham, all of these are there where? In the software. And the soul is carried to the next hardware.
The subtle body is carried to the next.
Subtle body carries the soul to the next gross body. That is why it is said, yad bhavam tad bhavati. What is your bhava? At the time of death especially, what is your state of mind? What are your thoughts, aspirations? Based on that, nature will provide you the next gross body. Therefore, perfection of life is, what? Janma labha para pumsam ante narayana smritihi. If we can quit this body by remembering Narayana, Krishna at the time of death, then what happens? There is no more going to next hardware. The software also gets purified. It is given up. So giving up both hardware and software is called liberation. Now it cannot happen like a miracle unless you practice it throughout your life. That is why we should chant Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We should keep on chanting. More and more we should keep on chanting. While you are walking in your campus, you can keep chanting. Early morning you are doing some morning walk or you are doing some jogging, that time also you can keep on chanting. Right? You are going from your hostel room to your lab, on the way you can chant. In between, in your experiment, there is some free time you can chant. Always you should keep chanting. Our consciousness should become imbued with this chanting. Hare Krishna Mahamantra. Hare Krishna Mahamantra is Krishna himself. There is no difference between Krishna and Hare Krishna Mahamantra. So when you are chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra, you are directly touching Krishna, provided you hear attentively when you are chanting. And then what happens? Slowly all of our convictions, our ichha, our desires, all of these will become spiritualized. And when our subtle body becomes spiritualized, what happens? At the thought level, we become spiritualized. Thoughts become purified. Right now the thoughts are influenced by material conception. But when you keep chanting again and again, hear more and more, keep chanting, then what happens? Mind also becomes purified. Thoughts become purified. Right? So then, by this, every day when you keep practicing this, at the time of death, we will be able to remember Krishna and quit our body. And by that, one can attain freedom from repetition of birth and death. See how important it is to know the Kshetra and Kshetrajna. If you know how Kshetra, Kshetrajna works, then you can think about how to get rid of this repetition of getting different Kshetras. Right? Are you all with me?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Or you all, is it sounding like Latin and Greek? Is it okay? Okay, now let's go to the central 5 verses of today's session. So today we will be discussing the items of knowledge. Krishna gives a list of about 20 items. First we will chant these verses 8 to 12. Amanitvam madambhitvam ahimsa shantirajyavam acharyopasanam shaucham स्थैर्यम् आत्मविनिग्रहः इन्द्रियार्थेषु वैराग्यम् अनहङ्कार एव च जन्म मृत्यु जरा व्याधि दुःख दोषानुदर्शनम् असक्तिरनभिष्वङ्गः पुत्रदारगृहादिषु नित्यं च समचित्तत्वम् इष्टानिष्टोपपत्तिषु मयि चानन्ययोगेन भक्तिरव्यभिचारिणी विविक्तदेशसेवित्वम् अरतिर्जनसंसदि अध्यात्मज्ञाननित्यत्वम् तत्त्वज्ञानार्थदर्शनम् एतज्ज्ञानम् इति प्रोक्तम् अज्ञानं यद्यतो यदन्यथा. So, items of knowledge. Krishna is saying these are the items of knowledge. These constitute knowledge, and anything apart from this, contrary to this, anyatha, that is ajnana. So Krishna is giving a definitive definition for the word jnanam. What constitutes jnanam? When do you say that a person has actually attained knowledge? If he has these 20 symptoms, he is said to be a person in knowledge. So let us see one by one. First one is amanitvam. Amanitvam means humility. Humility. So it is said, humility is the foremost symptom of knowledge. When you actually become advanced in knowledge, you actually become more humble, not proud. When a person is proud, it means he has no knowledge, or he has half-baked knowledge. Just like if there are 2 pots, one pot is half filled with water and the other pot is completely filled with water. When you carry both the pots, the completely filled water, the pot, the water does not splash outside, it goes. But the pot which is half filled keeps splashing, keeps showing that I am here, water is here, I am here. Adha jal gagari chalkat jai. There is a saying. Adha jal gagari. Half filled pot always keeps splashing water. Water keeps coming out. But full gagari, the pot which is filled with water, that will not. So the person who is actually complete, mature with knowledge, he remains peaceful, he remains humble. Pride means what? I want to show to everybody, see, look, I'm so great. Look, I have these abilities. Look, I have these talents. Everyone should recognize me. Right? But a humble person, he will not want to be recognized. Right? Another example given in the scriptures is a tree which is filled with fruits and a tree which has no fruits. If you compare both the tree which has no fruits, it stands straight, all the branches will be straight like that. But a tree which is laden with fruits, because of the weight of the fruits, all the branches, what happens? Bend down. Bend. Isn't it? Have you seen? The tree in which all the branches are filled with fruits, the branches bend down. Whereas empty trees will be standing like that straight. So that means what? When one is matured in knowledge, one bends down. One becomes humble. One actually understands that whatever I possess, these are not mine. Actually, these are gifted by the Lord. I have nothing, it's not mine. Today I may have some good qualities, people may appreciate me. Tomorrow, those things may be, my talents and abilities may be gone. It may be taken back. Isn't it? There was one great boxer, Muhammad Ali. His name was Muhammad Ali. If you search on YouTube, you'll find some of his videos. He was one of the biggest, greatest boxing champions.
4 times
World champion. Yes, exactly. So he used to say, I am the greatest. You will see that videos if you see many times. That is his standard statement. I am the greatest, he would say, because nobody could actually defeat him in boxing. But after a few years, he became, a patient of some disease. Which disease? Alzheimer's disease. Because of which?
I don't know, Prabhu, I'm just guessing.
Because of which, actually, there was no coordination between his brain and limbs. Right? He could not lift even one cup of tea. Some neural disease, may not be Alzheimer's. Parkinson's, no? Parkinson's. There is no coordination between the brain and the limbs. So he was not able to lift one cup of tea also. That person who was the 4 times world champion, boxing champion, he was not able to lift a cup of tea. Of course, then he also acknowledges, God has taken away my abilities. Right? So, humility means not to be proud of our possessions, our talents and abilities. In a moment's notice, they can all be taken away. Another very beautiful definition of humility is given by Srila Prabhupada in the purport. Humility means that one should not be anxious to have the satisfaction of being honored by others. Generally, we have this desire that everybody should respect me. Everybody should respect me because I have some abilities, some talents, some special powers. Everybody should recognize me. So a humble person, he will not be anxious to receive respect from others. But he will be ready to offer respects to everybody. That is humility. Ready to offer respects to everybody, but not expecting any respects from others. This is called humility. Right? Amanitvam. In other words, a person in true knowledge, as we have discussed in the previous chapter, who is a person in true knowledge? Devotee of the Lord. One who is engaged in bhakti yoga, that we have discussed in the previous chapter. One who is engaged in bhakti yoga, a devotee of the Lord, he does not think great about himself. And if somebody comes and glorifies him, oh, you have done such a good job. Oh, you have done so well. immediately he will pass on that glorification to Krishna, to the spiritual master, to Krishna. He will say, I have not done, I have just done my duty, but actually it is the empowerment of Guru and Krishna which has worked through me. Therefore I was able to attain this. I was able to achieve this. So this is called humility. So we have to practice this. It will not come on its own. We have to practice. How to practice humility? When we are in the association of devotees, it is possible to practice humility. So, in the association of devotees, when we render services, practically when we engage in service, practical devotional activities, then we will be able to experience humility. We will be able to see firsthand how to be humble by the behavior of other devotees. So, if we want to cultivate all of these qualities, the only way is to be in the association of devotees. Sadhu Sangha. Without association of devotees, if you say, I will only cultivate these habits, it is not possible. It is not possible. So, amanitvam, humility. Second, adambhitvam, pridelessness. You may say both may mean the same. Humility means absence of pride. Again, why pridelessness separately? As I told, humility means not wanting to expect honor from others. Now, pridelessness means what?
Not feeling proud of themselves.
Yes. Prideless means what?
Not respecting themselves. Not respecting themselves.
No self-respect. Yeah. Someone was saying here something.
I was also saying
No self-respect. Yeah. So actually, pridelessness means one should not think great about himself. One should not think, I'm so great, I've done so much. Naham karta, I am not the doer. When does pride come? Pride comes when we think I am the doer. Because of me it is happening. If I was not there, then things wouldn't have happened. If we have this kind of a thinking, then we are proud. But Krishna does not like his devotees to be proud. Correct? Example for this is the Govardhan Leela. We all know Krishna lifted Govardhan hill for 7 days and nights. Why? To protect his dear devotees of Rajabhumi from the torrential rains sent by Indra. We all know the story, right? Indra got angry. Why did Indra get angry? Because Krishna told all these Brajavasis, no need to perform Indra Puja. Indra is after all doing his duty of supplying rain. Why are you simply performing this puja for him? It is like bribery. You are bribing the government official. Government official is anyway getting salary from the government and he is supposed to do his duty. Separately, why you are supposed to give some bribe for him? This is not correct. Krishna argued. Krishna was just a 7-year-old boy at that time. Krishna said this specifically because Indra had become very proud. Krishna could notice that Indra was becoming very proud of his position. And Indra and all the devatas are actually devotees of Krishna. And Krishna becomes very unhappy when his devotees become proud. Therefore, he thought something I should do to curb the pride of Indra. Therefore, he told the Brajavasis, don't worship Indra, not required. Let us worship Govardhan hill. Let us worship the cows. Because of them only we are prospering. This enraged Indra. So all the Brajavasis simply followed what Krishna said. Because their affection for Krishna. And when they diverted the whole festival towards Govardhan, Indra became very upset and angry. He was fuming with anger. So therefore Indra sent special clouds called Samvartaka clouds, which are generally used during the time of annihilation. So Indra sent clouds and he wanted to actually inundate the whole Vrindavan. He wanted to flood the whole Vrindavan. And at that time, they all appealed to Krishna, please help, and Krishna lifted the Govardhana hill. For 7 days and nights, Indra tried his best to flood the Govardhana, to flood entire Vrindavan. But was he successful? He was not successful. Finally, he learned his lessons. I was thinking that I am a very powerful person, but this Krishna is even more powerful. So Indra realized his mistake. Right? So we may be doing some work, we may be having some abilities, talents, power, but we should know that our abilities, talents and powers, they are all subset of Krishna's abilities, talents and powers, which is the universal set. When we see our abilities, talents independent of Krishna's empowerment, that brings pride. But when we see that, no, whatever Krishna has given me little, whatever I have is borrowed, I have borrowed it from Krishna. Why should I become unnecessarily proud? Isn't it? So that means if you want to become prideless, you should become a devotee. In fact, all these qualities, it is explained, will be manifest only in the personality of a devotee. Only when you accept that I am the dasa, servant of Krishna, only then you can actually experience and manifest all these qualities in reality. Right? So, that is pridelessness. Third one is ahimsa, non-violence. What is ahimsa? Ahimsa can be practiced in two levels. One is at the physical level, not hurting others. Not hurting others physically. That is one level of ahimsa. Correct? Himsa means violence. Ahimsa, non-violence. But actual ahimsa is to help others to progress spiritually. That is real ahimsa. I'll give you an example. Suppose you are a doctor. Okay, and you know how to perform surgery. And let's say there is one patient who is suffering from some disorder and he has to be operated. Only then his problem will be solved. You get to know that. And the patient's family members come to you and they say, please help us. You know, you are a doctor, you are a surgeon, and this surgery is the only cure I have. So can you please help? That time, if you are not actually helping, you are doing himsa. You are actually being cruel and violent. Because you know how to cure that patient's disease. Even after knowing if you are not doing it, then it is actually himsa. It is violence. That means you have some knowledge and there are others who don't have that knowledge because of which they are suffering. If you don't go and enlighten them, you are actually performing himsa. This is himsa at a very subtle level. We think himsa is only going and taking a knife and killing somebody. That is one level of himsa. That is gross level of himsa. Subtle level of himsa is not to help others with the knowledge which you have. Not to enlighten others with the knowledge. That is also himsa. So, real ahimsa means to distribute real knowledge to the people so that they may become enlightened and leave this material entanglement. That is non-violence. So when you go to others and tell, you're not the body, you're soul. Why don't you chant Hare Krishna mantra? when you go and request them, can you please chant Hare Krishna mantra? Can you please take this Bhagavad Gita and read? You are actually performing ahimsa. That is ahimsa. Correct? Because all of us know something now about Bhagavad Gita. Now it becomes our duty to go and spread it to others. And if you don't do it, then it is himsa. I have this knowledge, but I am not spreading. I am keeping it to myself. It is himsa. Let me perform ahimsa. Because there are a lot of people who are actually suffering without this knowledge. I know whatever I know, let me go and share. Correct? If I am a student, let's say I know I am a 6th standard student. I know mathematics up to 6th standard. So I can teach all those who are in from nursery to 6th standard. I can teach. I may not be able to teach 7th standard students because I don't know that level mathematics. Whatever level mathematics I know, I can go and share with others. I can teach. That is helping. Correct? In fact, I remember in my school days, I was a topper in my school all the way, all the years. So my teachers used to tell me, see, you know so much, why don't you teach? So I remember 7th standard we used to have board exam. So 1 hour before the school starts, morning at 8 o'clock, I would actually do class in the math. I teach maths to all my class students who are not so good in maths. We used to assemble 1 hour before the class and I used to teach them. And by teaching, I developed more confidence in maths. My taste in maths increased by teaching.
Only maths or other subjects also?
Especially maths I was teaching. So, this is one example. So you have to help others. When you have knowledge, it's not that you keep it to yourself. Oh, everybody should recognize me. He's a big pandit. He's a big... no, you should spread. You know, knowledge is that dhanam which increases by spreading, by distributing. Dhanam means wealth. Money, if you distribute to others, will it increase?
No problem.
It will decrease. Your bank balance keeps decreasing the more you distribute. But this knowledge, especially spiritual knowledge, if you distribute to more and more people, you are enlightened, you are also getting enlightened. Because suppose you tell 10 people, I am not the body, I am soul. You are telling 10 times to yourself. That means you are associating with Bhagavad Gita knowledge 10 times. For the listener it is only 1 time. But you heard it 10 times. That means you got 10 times benefit. You have associated with Krishna's teachings 10 times. Then your conviction will increase 10 times. So therefore we must take up this work of spreading this knowledge. And this is specially recommended for Indians. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, Bharata bhumite janma loilo yar, janma sartaka kari karo paropakar. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu said, all those people, pious people who are born in this Bharata Varsha, anybody who has taken birth in Bharata Varsha is a very, very punyashali, punyavan, very pious. What we should do? 2 things we should do. First, we should become convinced in this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita. We should practice it ourselves. In that way, janma sarthaka kari. Our life becomes perfect. Then karo paropakar. Then we should not keep it with ourselves. We should go and share with others. Right? We should share. This is paropakar. Paropakarartham idam shariram. This body is actually meant for doing paropakar, to help others. Real paropakar is helping others to come closer to Krishna. Right? This is very, very important. When you help others to come closer to Krishna, you yourself will also be going closer to Krishna. That is the beauty. Therefore, ahimsa is not simply about abstaining from animal killing, abstaining from hurting others. No, real ahimsa is to share this knowledge of Bhagavad Gita with more and more people. This is the need of the hour. People are suffering in this world because of getting disconnected from Krishna. And if we can be a postman in in somebody's life, delivering this letter written by Krishna. Bhagavad Gita is a letter written by Krishna. It's a letter of love. Krishna is saying, you belong to me. Why have you forgotten me? Please come back to me. This is what Krishna is saying in this Bhagavad Gita. It's a letter of love Krishna has written personally, addressing everybody in this material world. And we can just become a postman on behalf of Krishna and deliver this letter. Who needs this letter? Everybody needs this letter. Just that they don't know. They don't know. We have to go and create awareness. Take this letter has come for you. Please take. You missed it many times before also. Again, one more reminder. Please take this courier parcel. See, just by being a delivery person, you get blessings of Krishna. Therefore, distributing Bhagavad Gita, distributing the knowledge of Bhagavad Gita is real ahimsa. Then, kshanti. The fifth item of knowledge is kshanti. Kshanti means tolerance. So, tolerance, we should learn to tolerate. Why we should learn to tolerate others? Because there are many others also who are tolerating us. Correct, no? There are a lot of people in your life who are tolerating you. Therefore, you should also tolerate others. Now, what is tolerance? Prabhupada explains here. Tolerance means that one should be practiced to bear insult and dishonor from others. Others may insult you, dishonor you, but you should not get disturbed. You should go on with your spiritual activities. That is tolerance. Tolerance can be best practiced when you actually try to distribute Bhagavad Gita. Actually, this Margashira month, Krishna says in the Bhagavad Gita, Masana Margashirshoham. Among all the months, I am this Margashirsha month. Margashirsha is the name of this month in the Vedic calendar, which comes in December, January, that time. It is during that time only Krishna spoke the Bhagavad Gita. Gita Jayanti comes in the Margashirsha month. So, during this month, devotees all over the world, especially followers of Srila Prabhupada, we do something called Srila Prabhupada Book Marathon. We distribute these books written by Srila Prabhupada to more and more people. You might have seen some of the core members in the Transdimensions club also doing this. So it is a seva. As I said, there are people who are not aware that they have a letter from Krishna. We have to go and remind them, it is a letter, why don't you take it and read it? So, when you go to distribute Bhagavad Gitas to people, you will come across all kinds of people. There will be some people who will be very happy. Oh, you come from the temple, you come from Bhagavad Gita, you are distributing. Very nice, please come. How much is this copy? They will immediately pay and take the book. Prabhupada said it is always important that you make the person pay and give the book. Because if you give free, people may not value it. They will take Bhagavad Gita as it is and keep it as it is in their shelf. But if they pay from their hard-earned money, they will feel, oh, I have paid money. Okay, let's see what is there in this. Paisa vasool karna hai. At least for the sake that I have paid money, let me read. They may think like that. So, there will be some people who will say, you don't have any better work. Why are you coming and wasting my time? Get out of this place. Isn't it? Not everybody will welcome you with a red carpet. There will be people who may chase you away also. In fact, some houses, we go and knock the doors. Instead of people coming, the dogs will come barking. And in some houses, dogs will not be there, but still they will put beware of dogs. So somebody said, whenever I am at home, I will put this board.
It means the person who is there inside is a dog.
So indirectly he is saying that. Whenever I am there in my house, I will put this board so that people will not come and disturb. So all kinds of people will be there. So a devotee can, by doing this seva of book distribution, one can develop this quality of tolerance. No problem. There will be some people who will welcome me, some people will dislike me, but I should go on because this is very pleasing to Guru and Krishna. This seva of distributing Bhagavad Gita is very pleasing to Guru and Krishna. Therefore, I should do it. See how by engaging in practical service we can develop these good qualities. Simply by sitting in your house and reading this, oh, I should develop tolerance. Okay, I'll develop tolerance. It will not work. Practically, one must engage in seva. Then tolerance will be easy to develop. Prabhupada gives the example of Prahlad. So Prahlad Maharaj, 5-year-old boy, he was the son of a great demon, Hiranyakashipu. He was always chanting the names of Lord Vishnu. His father was infuriated by this. And he tried so many ways to kill this boy, even though he was his own son. But Prahlad tolerated all those difficulties. This is tolerance. How was he able to tolerate all those problems? Because his mind was fixed on Krishna. So if our mind is fixed on Krishna and Krishna's service, then all kinds of difficulties in our life, we can easily cross over. We can tolerate, we can cross over. This is the secret. Not many people know this. When you fix your mind on Krishna, by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. And by engaging in seva, in the association of devotees, when you do these two things, then you will develop the inner strength to tolerate any difficulties or reversals in life. So that is tolerance. Then sixth one is arjavam. Arjavam means simplicity. What is the opposite of simplicity?
Sophisticated.
Sophistication or duplicity. Duplicity. What is duplicity? With you I will speak in one way, with another person I will speak in another way, contradicting. Because I know what to speak with you so that I get benefit from you. I know what I should speak with him, from him also I want benefit. This is duplicitous behavior. Opposite of this is simplicity. Whoever comes to me, I will speak the same thing because I have nothing to please you. This is simplicity. So one should be straightforward. So Prabhupada defines simplicity in this way. Simplicity means that without diplomacy, one should be so straightforward that he can disclose the real truth even to an enemy. Even if an enemy comes to find out some secrets, if you are a simple person, devotee, you will reveal everything. You will not think, oh, if I reveal this, then he will take advantage, he will do something harm to me. Example for this is Dronacharya. Dronacharya, he was a teacher of both the Pandavas and the Kauravas. He knew that Drishtadyumna, the son of Drupada Maharaj, was specifically born to kill him. Drishtadyumna, he was the brother of Draupadi, the son of Drupada. So Dronacharya knew that Drishtadyumna is going to kill him. His very birth was for killing Dronacharya. Dronacharya knew this. But when Drishtadyumna came to Dronacharya and asked, can you please teach me the military science? I want to learn, you are a great teacher. Can you please teach me the military science? Immediately Dronacharya agreed, yes, I will make you my disciple. I will teach you everything. So everything he taught, up to Brahmastra, all the weapons, everything, all military sciences, intricacies, he taught. This is an example for arjavam, simplicity. Now somebody may ask, in today's competitive world, is it really practical? If somebody comes, suppose if there is some competitor and I am working on one project and the competitor comes and asks me,
Trade secrets.
can you please tell the secrets, some important things, what you're doing? Will I say? What do you say? Should we say or not?
No, we should not say it.
We should not say. So we should not practice this arjava. What do you say? Should we reveal or not?
We should reveal but not completely.
Acha. We should reveal but not completely. So yours is Ashwatthama Hata Kunjara. So that is the half truth of Yudhishthira Maharaj. Isn't it? Okay. He says we should not reveal even some bit. He says half truth we can reveal. Any other party, any other answer? Should we reveal or not reveal? He says we should not reveal. Huh?
Spiritual things we can reveal, but maybe.
Yeah, so the point is, by revealing something, by speaking some knowledge, by speaking something, if the other person is going to be ultimately benefited, then you please reveal. Because for a devotee, for a spiritualist, ultimate perfection is what? Ultimately, he wants to help everybody to come closer to Krishna. By speaking something, if that person is coming one step closer to Krishna, yes, why not speak that? We should speak.
But by teaching military science to just one can closer to Krishna.
See now, Dronacharya is a different level. We cannot imitate him. We cannot imitate him. But I am saying, our principle is, by speaking something or by revealing something, when somebody is coming closer to God, closer to Krishna, yes. And yes, your answer to your question is also yes. Because Drishtadyumna fought for the Pandavas, which was seva for Krishna. Dronacharya knew this, therefore he openly shared everything. Isn't it? He came closer to Krishna. Okay, let us go to the next. Arjavam is over. Acharyopasanam. Upasanam means worship. Upasanam also means to come closer. Upasanam. Acharya Upasanam. Acharya means spiritual master. So, one of the important items of knowledge is one should accept a bona fide spiritual master. Right? Acharyavan Purusho Veda. Without approaching a bona fide spiritual master who comes in the Parampara system, one cannot actually understand the truth by himself, by independent study of books. One should not think that, oh, all the books are available online. All the Vedas, Upanishads, Puranas, everything is available. I will sit at home and study myself and I will attain perfection. No, it is not possible. So Krishna is merely repeating what he told in the 4th chapter. Tadvidhi pranipatena pariprashnena sevaya. One must approach a bona fide spiritual master if one wants to attain spiritual knowledge. If one wants to make a solution to all the problems of material existence, one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. It is not optional. The Mundaka Upanishad says, Tad Vijnanartham Sagurum Evavi Gachet. Abhigachet means you must approach. It's not you may approach. Okay, it's not optional. Nowadays, if you want to do some degree, there are two options. You go to the regular course, go to the college, university, regular student, and you go every day, attend classes, and at the end of the semester or the year, you write the exam and you pass. That is one way. Another way is what?
Online.
Online or distance education. Many universities, they offer this. You don't have to come to our place. You register, we will send you all the course material. You can watch videos and you can, in correspondence, you can do degree. That is another option. But in spiritual life, there is no such correspondence. It has to be offline only. That means you have to approach a bona fide spiritual master, take instructions from him and apply in your life.
When in material world, this correspondence doesn't work very well.
There also it is having many loopholes. But in spiritual life also, acharyopasanam, that means one must approach a bona fide spiritual master. Of course, this is not the physical way of approaching. One should not think that physically one has to approach. No. Approaching bona fide spiritual master means first is accepting the spiritual master. Accepting that yes, I will follow whatever he has told. I will try my best to follow his instructions. That is the first thing. Accepting Guru means what? Following his instructions. Prabhupada says, accepting Guru is not like having a dog. Oh, I have also a dog. Which one do you have? German Shepherd you have? Or Alsatian you have? Which one you have? Which is the, what is that called? Another smaller dog, what is it called? Pug. So which one do you have? So it's not a matter of fashion. Accepting Guru is not a matter of fashion. It is actually a matter of obedience. I will follow the instruction of the spiritual master. That is very important. Okay, the next one. So this is also an item of knowledge. Without accepting bona fide spiritual master, one cannot be called as a knowledgeable person. The next one, eighth one is Shaucham. Shaucham means cleanliness. There are two types of cleanliness, internal and external. For external cleanliness, we have to take bath every day. We take bath for the body every day. That is external cleanliness. Internal cleanliness is achieved by chanting the holy names of the Lord. The Garuda Purana says this, Apavitra pavitro va sarva avastha gatopi va Yasmane Kundali Kaksham Sabahya Abhyantara Shuchihi. Shuchihi means clean. How to become cleansed? Always remember Krishna. When you remember Krishna, when you chant his holy names, whatever may be your situation, you will become cleansed. That is why in the Vedic culture, every occasion, chanting of the Lord's names is recommended. Suppose there is a death in the family, there also chanting of God's names is recommended for purification. If there is some good festival or good function happening, family function, they are also actually supposed to chant. Harinam Sankirtan is supposed to be performed. Even in marriages. But in today's marriages, what happens? They play some cinema songs and everybody dances like mad person. Isn't it? So, but actually one is supposed to chant the Lord's names. So by simply chanting the Lord's names in any condition of life, one becomes purified. Shaucham. That is called Shaucham. So next one is Sthairyam. So Sthairyam means steadiness. Steady. One must be steady. Steadiness means that one should be very determined to make progress in spiritual life. This is steadiness. Now, many times what happens in the beginning days when we start practicing spirituality, our faith is not very steady. It is wavering. Sometimes we chant very nicely. Sometimes for many days no chanting at all. Fully Krishna is forgotten. Until the next session, we don't remember there is somebody called Krishna. That if you come for the session, you remember. But luckily there are different ways of remembering, and the best way is prasadam. So if somebody offers you prasadam, that's a very attractive way to become attracted to Krishna, very enjoyable way. So that is why I keep telling the core members that if you are inviting anybody for the session and if they have not come, please give them some prasadam. And at least by prasadam they will come. Because no one will deny prasadam. Correct? No? So prasadam is also one way of remembering Krishna. We should know that when a devotee gives you prasadam, it means Krishna is remembering you. Don't think simply prasadam will come to you. Krishna has remembered you. Krishna is missing you in the Friday sessions. Why you not come? Okay, chalo, prasadam, invitation. So, Sthairya, steadiness means we should be determined that whatever may happen, whatever challenge may come, no problem. I will make progress in spiritual life. I may make very little progress, baby steps, doesn't matter, but I will not give up. I will be steady. And one of the most important things that Srila Prabhupada told us is that every day we must chant a fixed number of rounds of Hare Krishna Mahamantra. That is an indication of steadiness. You see, simply by following Guru's instruction, all the items of knowledge you are actually practicing. Why do we chant fixed number of rounds every day? That is steadiness. I'm steady. Right? Very important. So therefore, all of you, I hope you are chanting fixed number of rounds every day. And Srila Prabhupada recommended minimum is 16 rounds every day. That is the minimum dosage that the spiritual doctor has recommended. Minimum dosage of medicine. But some of us, we have just begun the journey, doesn't matter. But maybe 2 rounds, maybe 4 rounds, whatever number of rounds, but you should not compromise. Oh, today weather is not good, let me not chant today. Okay, today I am not keeping well. No, you may not keep well, it's okay. Nicely put some warm clothes in your room, you'll sit and chant. Isn't it? Chanting Hare Krishna mantra is not dependent on the external circumstances. So therefore we must chant. So that is steadiness. What is that called? Sthairya. And then Atma Vinigraha. Atma Vinigraha means self-control. It is a very, very important item of knowledge. One who has not achieved self-control cannot actually attain spiritual progress. There is one example that is cited in the Vedic scriptures. This is the example of Vishwamitra Rishi. So Vishwamitra Rishi, actually he was a Kshatriya by birth, and when he saw Vasishta Muni, another Rishi, Brahmarshi, he was having many Brahmanical powers. Because of his tapasya, he had attained a lot of powers. So once this king, what was his name? Kaushika. His name was Maharaj Kaushika. Before he became Vishwamitra, he is Kaushika. So he, along with his big army soldiers, they went to forest for some purpose, for some fight or something. And on the way they found this Vasishta Muni's ashram. So the king said, let us go to this Muni's ashrama and receive his reception there. We will spend some time there. So the Vasishta Muni welcomed all the big group of people along with the king, and he gave them all kind of hospitality with good foodstuffs, everything. So Vasishta Muni's hospitality was in par with the royal hospitality that one can expect in a palace. So Maharaj Kaushika was surprised. How is this possible? He is after all a Muni, Rishi living in a forest, in a hut. And in a moment's notice, I have not told him in advance that this many people will come, please cook varieties of items and serve us. I have not given him prior notice. But in spite of that, for all of us, he has made such a nice feast. He has fed all of us. How is this possible? He was surprised. Then he inquired from Vasishta Muni, and Vasishta Muni revealed that it is all because of the Kamadhenu cow. I have received this Kamadhenu cow because of my tapasya, and this Kamadhenu can give at once whatever one desires. Right? So I just went and prayed to Kamadhenu, like this many people have come, this many plates of prasadam is required, immediately supplied. It's wonderful, no? So naturally, this Kaushika king, he thought, this kind of a Kamadhenu cow, this cow should be in my palace. What it is doing here? in this person's hermitage. Then he understood by tapasya, this Vasishtha Muni has got all this. Then he said, see, I am a big king. What I could not achieve, this, after all, when Muni has achieved this, he was thinking like that, out of his pride, he was thinking that Muni's position is lower than his own position. So then he thought, I have been simply wasting my time sitting on the royal throne. What am I doing? I should actually also become a Brahmarshi like Vasishtha Muni. And initially it was in the spirit of competition. I should become a greater Brahmarshi than Vasishtha Muni. That was his thinking. So what he did, he gave up his royal position, went to the forest, he did tapasya. And while he was doing tapasya, many obstacles came. One of the obstacles was Indra sent Menaka. So Indra, the king of the Devatas, even though he is the king of the Devatas, whenever he sees anybody is doing tapasya, immediately he becomes alarmed. He becomes disturbed. Because he thinks that these people who are doing tapasya, they may be aspiring to take my position. So I should create some obstacle for them, make sure that their tapasya will not be successful. So Indra sent Menaka, one Apsara. She was very beautiful. So Menaka just came in front of Vishwamitra Rishi. Vishwamitra Rishi had not even seen Menaka because he was closing his eyes and he was doing tapasya. But Menaka just, danced by the tinkling of her ankle bells that she was wearing in her legs. Gunguru's sound, his tapasya got broken. And he said, oh, what a beautiful lady. And then he married her. So, Prabhupada gives this example. Why did it happen like this? There's another parallel story in Mahabharata. We will understand, we'll come back to the Vishwamitra story after some time. Now we see there is one more interesting incident that happened in Mahabharata. Before the battle of Kurukshetra, Krishna advised Arjuna, you please do tapasya and accumulate as many celestial weapons as possible because you have to prepare for the battle of Kurukshetra. So when the Pandavas were in exile during the Vanavasa period, they were all preparing for the battle on the advice of Krishna. And Arjuna was advised by Krishna to please Indra and also to please Lord Shiva to get Pashupatastra. So he did tapasya, he pleased Lord Shiva, he got Pashupatastra. To get more celestial weapons, Krishna told you go to Indraloka and you please Indra, he is your father and he will give you all weapons, you please go there. So Arjuna was able to go to Swarga and he was a guest in Indraloka for some period of time. So Indra was very happy to receive Arjuna and Indra appointed one special Urvashi. Urvashi was another Apsara. Indra appointed Urvashi to give hospitality to Arjuna as long as he was living there. So every day Arjuna would learn some weapons from Indra and Urvashi was taking care of all the requirements of Arjuna. So one day during his stay, Urvashi becomes very attracted to Arjuna's personality, and Urvashi approaches Arjuna and says, see, you are a young man and I am also a young girl. Why don't we enjoy? So immediately Arjuna denies. Arjuna says, no, I consider you to be my mother. Why? Because you actually give pleasure to my father Indra. You are his servant. And how can I consider you to be my wife? How can I even think like this? Therefore, you are my mother. But she was insistent. She said, no, no, no. See, all these rules and regulations, they apply only in the earthly planet. In Swargaloka, these rules and regulations do not apply. It's okay. Please come on. Please enjoy with me. But Arjuna was very strong in his determination. He said, no, I cannot. Please forgive me. Please forgive me. I cannot even think of this. And because of this, Urvashi became angry. And Urvashi curses Arjuna that for a period of 1 year, you will become a eunuch. Eunuch means?
Neither male nor female.
Yeah. Napumsaka. Right? You will lose your paurusha for 1 year. This is my curse upon you. And of course, this curse became a blessing for him because during the last year, that is during the Ajnatavasa, it helped him a lot. So he became Brihannada in the court of Maharaj Virata. And he was training Uttara, the daughter of Virata, in dance. That's a different story. But you see, in the two situations, if you compare, Vishwamitra Rishi, just by hearing the tinkling of the ankle bells of Menaka, he got agitated, he gave up his tapasya, and he gave in for sense enjoyment. Whereas Arjuna, even when Urvashi proposed him, he was very strong in his conviction, saying that no, I cannot think about this. You are my mother. So why there is such a difference? So Srila Prabhupada explains. Vishwamitra Rishi, definitely he was a great yogi, but he was not a devotee. He was not a devotee. Whereas Arjuna, even though he was a Kshatriya, he was a devotee. Devotee means I surrender to Krishna and Krishna will direct my senses. My senses are not meant for my enjoyment. My senses are actually meant for executing the order of Krishna. This is the thinking of a devotee. And Krishna personally takes charge of the senses of his devotees. Therefore, one of the names of Krishna is Hrishikesha. Krishna is called Hrishikesha. Hrishika means senses. Isha means controller. Hrishikesha means the Lord who controls and directs the senses of his devotees. So even if by chance a devotee's mind gets agitated, but because he is nicely fixed in Krishna's service, Krishna will direct him by giving him the right intelligence. As we studied in the 10th chapter, Dadami buddhi yogam tam yenama upayantite. If we are always engaged in serving Krishna, in chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra sincerely, then Krishna will give us the required intelligence from within, how to act when temptations come. That is very nicely highlighted in this incident where Arjuna denies the proposal of Urvashi. Whereas Vishwamitra, he was not a devotee. Therefore, he fell for the agitation, for the temptation. It is very important we have to understand. So, if we have to actually be Atma Vinigraha, if we have to attain self-control, then we have to surrender to Krishna. And the easiest way to surrender to Krishna is, in this Kali Yuga, is by chanting Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. We should chant with utmost sincerity. Chant and hear the very same sound. Mind may go there and here. Bring the mind back on the sound. Krishna is present on my tongue when I chant his holy name. I have to surrender to him. How to surrender to Krishna? By surrendering my attention to the sound of the Hare Krishna mantra. My mind should not go anywhere else. I should not hear anything else. I should not see anything else while chanting. It is my personal time with Krishna. I have to give full attention. That is called surrender. 10 minutes a day everyone can do very easily. One mala will take about 8 minutes or 10 minutes. And each mala when we are chanting, if we practice this, full attention. Surrender means attention. I have to surrender to Krishna. Surrender means I have to be here and now. Being here and now. Krishna is available on my tongue when I chant Hare Krishna mantra. Why should I think of something else when I am chanting? When I am chanting, Krishna is here and now. My attention should also be here and now. This is called surrender. When we practice like this, Atma Vinigraha, self-control becomes very easy. Otherwise, on our own, we cannot control our senses. We have to ask Krishna to take charge of our senses. Krishna has got many names. Govinda, for example. One who gives pleasure to the senses of his devotees. Govinda. Hrishikesha, one who controls the senses. Just like Arjuna told Krishna, you please take control of my life by becoming my chariot driver. You control my ratha. Then I will progress towards perfection. Like that, when we are chanting Hare Krishna mantra, what does it mean? We are asking Krishna, you take control of my life. You take control of my senses. I have no faith on myself that I will be able to regulate and control my senses. Definitely, we should not be 100% sure that now I have attained full self-control. No. One Menaka will come and all your self-control is gone. Isn't it? So therefore, we should tell Krishna, Meri Dori Tere Haath. My life is in your control. This is the meaning of becoming devotee. This is the meaning of surrendering to Krishna. And that is possible by chanting attentively. So this way we can attain self-control. We will discuss the other items of knowledge in the next session. Any questions anyone has based on what we discussed today? No questions? No questions means only two things. What are the two options?
Understood everything.
Yeah.
Understood.
Understood everything, understood nothing. So I will be very positive. I will take the first option. Okay, let us now chant Hare Krishna mantra. Please distribute the beads. Meanwhile, I am still asking if you have any question, any comment. Why you don't have any question today?
One more thing I can ask,
Yeah, please ask. That's what I'm waiting for.
outside of the material world, was it allowed for Arjuna to actually marry Urvashi or?
No, because Swarga is also part of material world only. Devotee does not take shelter of such concessions. His loyalty is towards Krishna. In fact, Arjuna married 4 wives. And every time it was Krishna's instruction, so he married. It's not that Arjuna was going and hunting women and marrying. Krishna had told him, you marry this Chitrangada, you marry this Udupi. Udupi is Nagakanya, you marry. And Chitrangada was the princess of which place? Manipura. So you marry. It was Krishna's order. Therefore Arjuna married. So even Draupadi's marriage also Krishna only wanted. That is why in the Swayamvara, when Karna tries to lift the bow and he is about to target the eyes of the fish, Krishna indicates to Draupadi, don't accept. So Draupadi says, no, I don't want to marry this person. She gives the reason, he is a Sutaputra, son of a charioteer, I don't want to marry. And then when Arjuna comes, yes. So the whole thing is, if you notice, if you study Mahabharata carefully, don't think that the ultimate victory that Pandavas experienced on the battle of Kurukshetra happened simply like that. Every now and then, every step of their life, Pandavas lived for Krishna, lived according to the instructions of Krishna. Therefore, Krishna was always there with them to protect them. Krishna was taking special interest in the Pandavas' life. Otherwise, why should the Supreme Lord be interested in one family fight for property?
Because they were righteous.
See, the battle of Kurukshetra is nothing but a family fight between two brothers for a property. Why should the Supreme Lord take special interest in this family fight? He's not interested. But because Pandavas were completely surrendered souls and Pandavas were on the side of Dharma, therefore Krishna took special interest. So Krishna will take interest in our life also if we are interested in following what Krishna has said. That is called reciprocation. Right? So the answer to your question is, yeah, even if that was the case, that the laws of this earthly planet do not apply in Swargaloka, and even when that was brought to the notice of Arjuna, Arjuna was not interested. He was not wanting to take shelter of some concessions.
It actually didn't apply, but he didn't want to take it.
Yes, actually didn't apply, but he was not interested. Because he wanted what Krishna. I have come here because Krishna told me go to Indraloka and get weapons. I have no other business here. That is loyalty. That level of surrender, if it is there, then Krishna will protect you. Very good. Yes. What's your name? Om. Yes, Om. Tell me.
So I have a question. You talk about Dronacharya's simplicity, right?
Yes.
So he revealed whatever he knows to his disciple. So why didn't he reveal to Eklavya?
Yeah. So Ekalavya, he was actually a soldier in the army of Jarasandha. And Jarasandha, we know, he was Adharma personified. He attacked Mathura 17 times. Correct? So, and Ekalavya was not interested to use this knowledge for dharma. His loyalty was towards whom? Jarasandha. So if knowledge is given to a person who is loyal to a demoniac person, that knowledge will be misused.
Then why did he teach to Kauravas?
Yeah. Now, Kauravas, why did he teach? Now we should know that
As a guru, whoever comes, they have to be taught. A guru cannot decline a student who is sincere.
then why did he decline Ekalavya? Is his question. That was his question.
Because he is not an ideal guru.
No, not like that. So the point is, Dronacharya or anybody in Mahabharata, we should know that they are not ordinary persons. They all knew ultimately where it is going to lead towards, the battle of Kurukshetra. It is Krishna's plan. It is very clearly stated that Dronacharya knew what is Krishna's intentions. Even when Krishna came as a messenger of peace before the battle of Kurukshetra, one of the people to whom Krishna privately spoke was Dronacharya. And Dronacharya was merely a puppet in the hands of bigger scheme of things. That also he knew. So what happens when we try to compare, oh, Ekalavya, he did like this. Kauravas, why did he culminate? One thing is, Kauravas were actually Kshatriyas. Kshatriya's duty is to give protection. What is the meaning of Kshatriya? Kshatrayate iti Kshatriya. One who can give you protection from the attack of the enemies by weapons. He is called a Kshatriya. And how to give protection to others from attack of weapons? You should yourself learn the weapons. Then only you can give protection, right? So therefore, because they were Kshatriyas, they had all good, opportunities to be a dharmic Kshatriyas. So Dronacharya considered them to be good candidates. like somebody who is born in a, let's say, in a scientist family. The father is a great scientist. In his house always talks about science and all of those things will be going on. It is very natural for the children to pick up those vibes if they want to. And they can also progress in the field of science. They can take advice from his father and they can become also something great in the field of science. But there is the other thing that the child may not choose to. So the Kauravas, definitely they had all opportunities to be very first class Kshatriyas. But because of the narrow-mindedness of Duryodhana, because of the ego and envy of Duryodhana, they could not become first class Kshatriyas. So, but in this case, Ekalavya's case, it is very clear that his loyalty was towards this Jarasandha.
If that was the case, then if he had not taught them right,
Yeah.
then the war would not happen in the first place, right?
And that's what we are thinking. So we should not think that if this, somebody also similar argument somebody said, if Krishna, instead of speaking Bhagavad Gita to Arjuna, if Krishna had spoken Bhagavad Gita to Duryodhana, then war of Kurukshetra would not have happened only.
Duryodhana doesn't have this thing, maturity to understand.
Yeah, in fact, Krishna himself went and advised Duryodhana, right, before the battle of Kurukshetra. What was his advice? What was his response? He said, Janami dharma nachame pravrittihi, janami adharma nachame nivrittihi. He said, I know what is dharma, but I cannot follow it. I know what is adharma, but I cannot give it up. This is what Duryodhana said. So he was openly he was that kind of an adamant person. Right? So we should not think that, oh, if this didn't happen, this wouldn't have happened.
But Drodacharya knew, right, it was going to happen.
Yes. How can somebody stop the Lord's will? It was Lord's will that this Kurukshetra war has to happen. The whole world should know what is the consequence of following the path of adharma. You may be a great powerful person, you may have Bhishma, you may have Drona, you may have all such powerful people for your support, but because you have offended the devotees, the Pandavas, you have walked on the path of adharma, the whole world should know what will happen. This is Krishna's plan. You see, if you compare the numerical strength of the army of the Pandavas and Kauravas, the Kauravas' army was much greater than the Pandavas' army. 7 is to 11. 7 Akshauhini divisions of army supported the Pandavas, 11 supported the Kauravas. So, numerical strength-wise, if you go, Kauravas were supposed to be victorious. Kauravas had big Maharathis on their side, but all of that could not help the Kauravas because they were on the path of adharma. So Krishna wants to teach the whole world. You may have all power, you may have all reputation, all great things you may have, but since you are on the path of adharma, you are doomed. You are going to be destroyed. So this is the plan. And Dronacharya knew this, therefore he did not. How can somebody counter the Lord's plan? That after knowing very well what is Lord's position. Isn't it? Okay, let us chant now. Let us chant one round. Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Shri Krishna Chaitanya,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Prabhu Nityananda,
Shri Advaita Gadadhara,
Shri Advaita Gadadhara,
Srivasadi,
Srivasadi,
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda,
Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
So let us all chant at our own pace, but most important is chant each word, each mantra here attentively. Okay? Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna Mahamantra ki jai, Shri Prabhupada ki jai, Granthara Srimad Bhagavad Gita ki jai. So we will continue the next week. So all of you please collect prasadam